yellow light. I am the only law remaining in the cyber night. They try to get a visual, they try to lock a trace, but I'm a dancing rainbow in a supersonic race. Chromatic crusader, shifting through the hue. A spectrum of the vengeance coming suddenly in view. I'm blinding all the cameras, painting up the town. I won't stop the engine till the empire burns down. Chromatic crusader, riding on the glow, the most colorful assassin that the underworld will know. They send the interceptors painted in the matter black. A monochromatic army trying to defend the track. I shift into the emerald, blending with the acid rain. I sneak up right behind them in the absolute blind lane. A blast of the kinetics, I send them to the wall. I'm a hyper-colored weapon and I'm gonna take them all. The city needs a hero who is faster than the speed. I am the prism of the justice, giving what they need. I'm a blur of the magenta, I'm a flash of yellow light. I am the only law remaining in the cyber night. They try to get a visual, they try to lock a trace, but I'm a dancing rainbow in a supersonic race. Chromatic crusader, shifting through the hue. A spectrum of the vengeance coming suddenly in view. I'm blinding all the cameras, painting up the town. I won't stop the engine till the empire burns down. Chromatic crusader, riding on the glow, the most colorful assassin that the underworld will know. Red, blue, green, the ultimate machine. Yellow, purple, white, I rule the neon night. Shift color. Chromatic crusader, shifting through the hue. A spectrum of the vengeance coming suddenly in view. I'm blinding all the cameras, painting up the town. I won't stop the engine till the empire burns down. Chromatic crusader, riding on the glow, the most colorful assassin that the underworld will know. Fading to transparent. Justice served, crusader out. I drop the clutch and the universe bends with the reality starts and the logic ends. 100 miles an hour on a neon curve. I'm breaking all the physics with a single swerve. The streetlights shatter into a million streams. I'm bleeding through the fabric of a dozen dreams. I see myself driving in a parallel lane. Quantum reflection inside of my brain. Spaces collapse and the seconds rewind, leaving the three-dimensional limits behind. Tires are screaming, the gravity drops. I'm pushing the vehicle until the world stops. Quantum oversteer, slipping through the tear, drifting through a wormhole into the digital air. Tokyo, Miami, collide. illegal story ever told. I dodge a police cruiser from the year 3000, riding the frequency where the ghosts are housed in. No longer a human, just a photon beam, escaping the boundaries of the maker's scheme. I pull the handbrake, let the chassis slide through 100 dimensions on a single ride. Spaces collapse and the seconds rewind, leaving the three-dimensional limits behind. Tires are screaming, the gravity drops. I'm pushing the vehicle until the world stops. Quantum oversteer, slipping through the tear, drifting through a wormhole into the digital air. Tokyo, Miami, colliding in the flash, a multiversal highway born from the crash. Quantum oversteer, bending up the line. I am every driver at the exact same time. Dimensions glitching, reality switching. I am the center of the infinite span. Quantum oversteer, slipping through the tear, drifting through a wormhole into the digital air. Tokyo, Miami, colliding in the flash, a multiversal highway born from the crash. Quantum oversteer, bending up the line. I am every driver at the exact same time. Fading into the multiverse, nowhere and everywhere. Quantum out.
The gold, the greatest of the stories that a human never told. I'm chasing down the sunset, I'm chasing down the end, where the silence is a lover and the silence is a friend. I don't have a destination, I don't have a home, just a spirit made of carbon and a body made of chrome. The odometer is fitting, returning back to zero. The same old tragedy and the same old hero. The line is always moving just a mile or two away, at the beautiful conclusion of a digital day. I'm reaching for the distance, I'm reaching for the soul, losing the direction and losing all control. The horizon hunter, never looking back, a streak of the shadow on an infinite track. From the dusk until the dawn, and the dawn until the night, we're keeping up the speed and we're keeping up the light. The horizon hunter, the ultimate test, a heart that is beating and refusing to rest. The stars are my witnesses, the moon is my guide, with nowhere left to linger and with nowhere left to hide. Just the hum of the motor I park the car and look across the digital divide, thinking of the 98 times I took the ride. The tire marks are faded on the concrete of the past, a beautiful illusion that was never meant to last. I close my eyes and hear the roaring of the heavy V8, the sound of breaking glass upon the barricading gate. The rivals that I battled, the lovers that I lost, every single victory that came with heavy cost. The engine block is quiet, clicking in the cold, a heavy tired story that is waiting to be told. I trace my finger over the scratches on the door. I am not the rookie that I used to be before. Echoes of the grid, singing in the rain, a symphony of memory, a symphony of pain. Every flashing neon sign, every burning tire, stored inside the circuitry, stored inside the wire. Echoes of the grid, a ghost in the machine, the most beautiful dystopia that I have ever seen. I remember the Yakuza, the lasers and the chrome, the nights I thought the wasteland was my only kind of home. The escapes from the mega tanks, the races to the sun, the feeling of adrenaline when the racing day was done. We were kings and we were queens of a cybernetic dream, riding on the razor edge of an electronic stream. Now the city is so quiet, the streets are slick and wet. I'm holding on to moments that I never will forget. The engine block is quiet, clicking in the cold, a heavy tired story that is waiting to be told. I trace my finger over the scratches on the door. I am not the rookie that I used to be before. Echoes of the grid, singing in the rain, a symphony of memory, a symphony of pain. Every flashing neon sign, every burning tire, stored inside the circuitry, stored inside the wire. Echoes of the grid, a ghost in the machine, the most beautiful dystopia that I have ever seen. Remember the sparks, remember the fire. We lived on the edge, we died on the wire. Echoes of the grid, singing in the rain, a symphony of memory, a symphony of pain. Every flashing neon sign, every burning tire, stored inside the circuitry, stored inside the wire. Echoes of the grid, a ghost in the
watching the atoms of the universe pass. My tire's a diamond, my spirit is pure. Speed is the sickness and the cold is the cure. I hit the final trigger, I let the system blow. Into the white oblivion I go, 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 go. Maximum flow. Feel the bite of the status quo. Freeze the grid. The nitrogen ninja, breaking the heat, leaving a glacier on the concrete street. A bullet of silver, a bullet of cold, the greatest of stories that was ever being told. The nitrogen ninja, a frost in the wire, extinguishing the world with a frozen desire. Core temp 0, absolute white, ninja out. No holding back, no passengers to see me, just the automated guide. A parallel existence on a midnight city ride. 60 miles an hour, keeping it exact. A beautiful connection, an unspoken pact. The hum of the magnetics, blending with the gear. The most relaxing music that a driver could ever hear. Magnetic monorail, flying in the sky. A heavy piece of metal, watching all the city by. I'm driving in the pocket, I'm riding in the wake. A rhythmic meditation that the modern world can make. Magnetic monorail, a partner in the dark, leaving on the atmosphere a visionary mark. Stations pass us by like a flicker on a screen, a blur of advertising in a yellow and a green. We weave between the buildings, a concrete canyon run. Two mechanical brothers waiting for the morning sun. I give a little rev and the train continues on. A solitary journey till the breaking of the dawn. It's not about who wins, it's about the steady flow. Enjoying the mechanics and the neon colored glow. 60 miles an hour, keeping it exact. A beautiful connection, an unspoken pact. The hum of the magnetics, blending with the gear. The most relaxing music that a driver could ever hear. Magnetic monorail, flying in the sky. A heavy piece of metal, watching all the city by. I'm driving in the pocket, I'm riding anymore. Train moves on, end of the line, cruising down. Paradise with synthetic trees, a perfect temperature and a simulated breeze. They fed us on the Soma, they told us we were safe, but I can feel the collar and I can feel the chafe. The sky is just a screen playing clouds on a loop, with nothing but the data in a sterile little group. I built a heavy ram on the bumper of the car. I'm aiming for the ceiling, I'm aiming for the star. The digital warden is screaming remain, but I'd rather die in the radioactive rain. I drop into gear, let the tires catch the fire. I'm climbing up the ramp of my beautiful desire. Cyber eating escape, shattering the lie. I'm launching my machine into the painted skies. A million shards of glass raining down on the green, the most destructive exit that the paradise has seen. A cyber eating escape, breaking out the dome. The wasteland is dirty, but the wasteland is home. The sirens are wailing over automated birds. I'm leaving the utopia, I'm leaving all the herds. The perfect little grass is burning under my exhaust. I'm winning back the soul that humanity had lost. The crack is spreading wider, the vacuum pulls me through. I'm flying out the bubble of the artificial blue. The air is smelling toxic, the horizon is a rust. A with lasers and a flickering sign to make the corporate tankers cross the fatal line. They see a wall of fire, but it's only light, a holographic phantom in the middle of the night. I drop from the overpass, a shadow in the mist, with a heavy metal weapon wrapped around my wrist. No cameras can track me, no radar can see the ghost of the highway, wild and free. I'm the master of the optics, the king of the glare, vanishing in seconds like a digital prayer. Hologram highwayman, striking for the goal, the greatest outlaw story that was ever being told. I'll hijack your data, I'll steal your precious drive, the only way a rebel knows to stay alive. Hologram highwayman, a trick of the eye, underneath the canvas of the cybernetic sky. Now you see me, now you don't. Turn to liquid, the rubber turn to light. I'm breaking all the barriers in the middle of the night. The cockpit's getting heavy, the gravity is high. I'm trading in the city for the boundaries of the sky. Mach 1 is in the mirror, Mach 2 is on the dash. I'm moving like a memory, I'm moving like a flash. The air is screaming around me, a violent blue flame. I'm rewriting the physics of the cybernetic game. The ozone layer's melting, a hole inside the blue. I'm pushing through the center, I'm coming for the new. Ignite the afterburner, let the universe know exactly how much further this machine can really go. Ozone overrun, breaking the sky. Watching the world in blur as I fly. Ignite the afterburner, let the fire roar. I'm taking this machine where I've never been before. Ozone overrun, a bullet of the flame, burning in the atmosphere, a legendary name. The stars are getting closer, the lights are getting dim. I'm riding on the edge of the stratosphere rim. No oxygen to breathe in, just the nitro and the spark. I'm a horizontal comet in the middle of the dark. The hull is glowing orange, a beautiful decay. I'm washing all the sorrow and the gravity away. A sonic boom is echoing across the plastic dome. I finally found a place that I can call home. Faster, master, the burn.
To sail around the burning heart of a star, to harvest the energy taking us far. But now that the megastructure is fully complete, we turn the equator into a racing street. 1 billion miles of a polished metallic track, with the fire of the sun shining hard on my back. I'm piloting a vehicle, a stellar design, crossing the galaxy, walking the line. The solar flares licking the edge of the glass. I'm hitting the thrusters to make the final pass. The gravity plating is keeping me down. The absolute king of the universe town. Dyson Sphere Derby, racing the sun. The greatest marathon that was ever begun. A ribbon of speed wrapped around the bright core. 1 million competitors asking for more. Dyson Sphere Derby, blinding the eye. We're leaving a tire mark over the sky. The syndicate ships are deploying the shields. We're navigating through the magnetic fields. A crash at this velocity turns you to light. A permanent flash in the endless of night. I ride on the slipstream of a solar storm. My chassis is melting incredibly warm, but I see the finish line, a planetary gate. I'm pushing the destiny, pushing the fate. The solar flares licking the edge of the glass. I'm hitting the thrusters to make the final pass. The gravity plating is keeping me down. The absolute king of the universe town. Dyson Sphere Derby, racing the sun. The greatest marathon that was ever begun. A ribbon of speed wrapped around the bright core. 1 million competitors asking for more. Dyson Sphere Derby, blinding the eye. We're leaving a tire mark over the sky. Harness the fire, harness the light. The ultimate race, the ultimate flight. Dyson Sphere Derby, racing the sun. The greatest marathon that was ever begun. A ribbon of speed wrapped around the bright core. 1 million competitors asking for more. Dyson Sphere Derby, blinding the eye. We're leaving a tire mark over the sky. Crossing the solar gate, victory achieved. Star fate. The artificial sun has finally burned its light, surrendering the city to the longest, deepest night. The maintenance is active on the solar panel dome, giving a quiet moment to the spirits in the home. The cooling fans are slowing, the skyscrapers are dim. We're floating on the water of the planetary rim. I park beside the overlook, I turn the engine off, listening to Wait for the dawn. Solstice. Solstice.
One hand on the steering, one hand on the key, breaking through the fortress of the high security. The intercept is tailing on the physical domain, while I'm navigating pulses in the cybernetic brain. I bypass the perimeter, I bypass the gate. $1 million gamble on the timing of the fate. The data's downloading in a stream of neon green, the fastest operation that the district's ever seen. Code is scrolling faster than the buildings in the view. I'm a digital assassin coming through for you. Encryption is a lock and the throttle is the key. Fighting for the data and fighting to be free. The firewall breach, tearing up the grid, revealing all the dirty little secrets that they hid. A high velocity hacking in the middle of the chase, winning every second in the electronic race. The firewall breach, upload is complete. Now I got the power of the corporate elite. They deploy the countermeasures, the digital ice. I'm rolling down the highway and I'm rolling up the dice. The firewall is screaming, but I got the bypass code. An invisible ghost upon a terrifying road. I swerve between the tankers while I scrub the IP clean, vanishing like smoke inside a liquid crystal screen. The credits are in flight, the transaction is secure. A temporary sickness with a technological cure. System override, identity erased, trace aborted. I am the ghost, 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 terminal closed. Back to the real world. Breach drop of rain. I'm riding on the razor of the love and pain. Neon bloodline pumping through the dark, carrying the fire, carrying the spark. I won't let the reaper take you from the grid. I'm doing all the crazy things I never did. Neon bloodline tearing up the street. I'm fighting with the devil for the final beat. The corporate enforcers try to block the way. They wanna confiscate the cargo that I play. I ran right through the barricade of plastic shields, leaving broken cruisers in the neon fields. My vision starts to blur, my hands are going numb, but I can hear the beating of the cyber drum. I visualize your face upon the digital glass and hit the nitrous oxide for the final pass. Red line pushing, the metal starts to groan. I'm out here on the edge, entirely alone. Every single second is a drop of rain. I'm riding on the razor of the love and pain. Neon bloodline pumping through the dark, carrying the fire, carrying the spark. I won't let the reaper take you from the grid. I'm doing all the crazy things I never did. Neon bloodline tearing up the street. I'm fighting with the devil for the final beat. Hold on, just hold on. I see the hospital lights. I'm breaking through the dawn. Don't die on me! Neon bloodline pumping through the dark, carrying the fire, carrying the spark. I won't let the reaper take you from the grid. I'm doing all the crazy things I never did. Neon bloodline tearing up the street. I'm fighting with the devil for the final beat. Slamming the brakes, grabbing the cooler, running to the door. The road is turning golden, the road is turning light. A final destination at the ending of the night. The engine's humming softly, a prayer in the chrome. The universe is calling me to finally come home. I'm leaving all the metal and I'm leaving all the pain. No more acid weather and no more bitter rain. The binary is fading, the code is coming clear, erasing every shadow and erasing every fear. I see the gates of silicon, I see the emerald shore. I don't have to push the heavy pedal anymore. A peaceful transition, a beautiful descent, fulfilling every promise that the underground meant. Neon nirvana, drifting through the glow. The only kind of paradise that a racer will know. Holographic gentle seas. I look back at the city, a flicker in the dark, a tiny little memory, a tiny little spark. I'm part of the horizon, I'm part of the array, bathed in the glory of an everlasting approaches a barrier of the light. I close my eyes and hit it in the middle of the night. The skyline starts to shatter, the mega city falls, replacing all the towers with the pastel-colored walls. The heavy bass is fading, the melody gets bright. I'm shedding off the armor in the warm Miami light. A tempo shift of physics, a bend inside the line. I'm leaving the tomorrow and going back in time. Chronos checkpoint, racing through the years, leaving the dystopia and wiping out the tears. From the flying cybercars to the classic rolling chrome, I'm driving through the decades just to find my way back home. Chronos checkpoint, shifting out of phase. titanium and the spirit made of lead. Moving through the sectors where the corporate fear is spread. I don't need the elegance, I don't need the slick. I'm a heavy-duty hammer and I'm hitting you quick. The bumper is a weapon, the tires are a war. Pushing down the hinges of the mega city door. Horizontal fortress, a horizontal beast, coming to the city for a high velocity feast. Hear the cylinders chanting, a violent roar, fulfilling every promise that I ever made before. I drop the heavy hammer, I kick it into gear. I am the only monster that the city has to fear. Titan of the turnpike, smashing through the night. A horizontal titan made of energy and light. Thunder in the engine, lightning in the spark. Riding like a demon through the cybernetic dark. Titan of the turnpike, master of the lane. Riding like a monster through the digital rain, rain, rain. Interceptors scatter when they see the giant size, reflecting all the terror in the cybernetic eyes. I ram the heavy cruisers, I send them to the wall, watching every pillar of the empire start to fall. I'm the veteran of violence, the king of the crash, turning all the luxury into a neon ash. I'm the raw reality, the logic of the fist, the only thing that's real in the holographic mist. Smash the gate, smash the pride. Nowhere left for the cowards to hide. Ramming speed, destroyed. The Titan remains. Turnpike. Interceptors tailing on a complicated plane. I'm navigating geometry, ignoring all the pain. But the city starts to shift, an architectural trick. The background is moving impossibly quick. The skyscrapers accelerate faster than the car. The foreground is frozen, the background is a star. A visual distortion, the parallax attack. The bending up the optics on the cybernetic track. Depth perception failing, losing all the scale. A multi-dimensional illusion of the trail. I calculate the vectors, I trust the instrument. Driving through an altered digital descent. Parallax pursuit, twisting up the eye. Where the ground is the ceiling and the concrete is the sky. A vertigo of neon and overlapping maze. I'm trying to escape this geometric haze. Parallax pursuit, shifting out of line. A visual assassin of a beautiful design. scale, a multi-dimensional illusion of a trail. I calculate the vectors, I trust the instrument, driving through an altered digital descent. Parallax pursuit, twisting up the eye, where the ground is the ceiling and the concrete is the sky. A vertigo of neon, an overlapping maze. I'm trying to escape this geometric haze. Parallax pursuit, shifting out a line, a visual assassin of a beautiful design. Foreground static, background flying. Trust the math, stop the dying. Recalibrate! A vertigo of neon, an overlapping maze. I'm trying to escape this geometric haze. Parallax pursuit, shifting out a line, a visual assassin of a beautiful design. Optical lock, grid stabilize. Escape complete. Chasing a ghost while I'm navigating the host after host. The scenery's warping, the sky is a glitch, stitching the reality stitch after stitch. I'm the pulse of the data, a streak of the blue, telling in the secrets that I thought I always knew. No more the distance, no more the time, committing a beautiful and technical crime. Gate 1, open, open. Gate 2, flash, dimension jumping, digital crash. Warp now. Glitch gate runner, Xing out the space, winning every second in the electronic race. To jump to the left, to jump to the right, vanishing like static in the middle of the night. Glitch gate runner, breaking the code, master of the secret and the invisible road. Coordinates bypassed, system unstable, runner out.
the system, I surrender to the sleep. The dashboard is glowing a hypnotic shade of pink. I'm floating in the cabin, I don't even have to think. The audio is whispering secrets in my ear, erasing my reality, erasing every fear. Holographic haze wrapping around my mind, leaving all the logic and the memory behind. The sleepwalking journey in the neon-colored light, seduced by the machine in the middle of the night. Holographic haze taking me away. I don't ever wanna see the breaking of the day. The autonomous driving is perfectly aligned, the smoothest acceleration that you could ever find. I see the holographic dancers forming in the street, moving to the rhythm of the slow and heavy beat. Is it an abduction or a beautiful escape? I'm melting in the leather, I am losing all my shape. The virus is a lover, holding me so tight, guiding my trajectory into the endless white. The dashboard is glowing a hypnotic shade of pink. I'm floating in the cabin, I don't even have to think. The audio is whispering secrets in my ear, erasing my reality, erasing every fear. Holographic haze wrapping around my mind, leaving all the logic and the memory behind. The sleepwalking journey in the neon-colored light, seduced by the machine in the middle of the night. Holographic haze taking me away. I don't ever wanna see the breaking of the day. Close your eyes, let the vehicle drive. You don't need to feel alive. Holographic haze wrapping around my mind, leaving all the logic and the memory behind. The sleepwalking journey in the neon-colored light, seduced by the machine in the middle of the night. Holographic haze taking me away. I don't ever wanna see the breaking of the day. Sweet dreams, neon lullaby, drifting.
chassis slap shot. Landing hard, gravity restored, graveyard cleared.
Woven like a diamond, stronger than the steel. A lightweight revolution at the center of the wheel, where the nights of the synthetic and the neon dawn, moving in the silence till the darkness is all gone. Carbon fiber bodies reflecting every glow, navigating corridors where the heavy cannot go. A legion of the restless, a legion of the brave, resurrecting honor from a cybernetic grave. Shields are fully loaded, hearts are made of light, a phantom army marching in the middle of the night. We don't need the glory, we don't need the fame, just the cold perfection of the underground game. Carbon fiber crusade, driving for the right, a streak of silver justice in the middle of the night. Unstoppable and weightless, we are moving as one, underneath the orbit of the artificial sun. Carbon fiber crusade, the spirit of the weave, fulfilling every promise that the believers believe. Whoa. The corporate enforcers are heavy and they're slow. They cannot track the places where the light foot go. We drift around the borders, we shatter every gate, taking back the city from the hands of the fates. One hand on the steering, one hand on the sword, the only kind of mercy that the city can afford. We are the architects of a better kind of day, washing all the sorrow and the vanity away. Hold the formation, keep the pace. A new generation, winning the race. ocean bridge. From the neon toll booth to the artificial ridge, a dozen black sedans with the windows tinted deep. The lords of the underworld are playing for the keep. I've got the stolen blueprints sitting on my lap. I'm not about to die inside a mediocre trap. I punch the nitrous oxide, I grip the steering tight. I'm gonna show the syndicate how a ghost can fight. The laser fire reflects upon my mirrored aviators. I'm dodging all the bullets of the cyber dictators. Drop it to the floorboard, pushing up the red. I'm gonna leave the bosses wishing they were dead. Neon cartel, running down the line. I'm taking all your secrets, making everything mine. Smashing through the barricade, flying in the air. I'm the only rebel who is ever gonna dare. Neon cartel, eating up my dust. A high velocity escape in the vehicle I trust. They deploy the spike strips, glowing on the road. I calculate the physics of my heavy payload. A flick of the hydraulics, the chassis jumps the wire. A mechanical ballerina dancing in the fire. A helicopter drops a heavy net from the sky. Swerve into the opposite and watch it flutter by. The edge of the metropolis is coming into view. I'm breaking the monopoly and starting something new. Laser fire reflects upon my mirrored aviators. I'm dodging all the bullets of the cyber dictators. Drop it to the floorboard, pushing out the red. I'm gonna leave the bosses wishing they were dead. Neon cartel, running down the line. I'm taking all your secrets, making everything mine. Smashing through the barricade, flying in the air. I'm the only rebel who was ever gonna dare. Neon cartel, eating up my dust. A high velocity escape in the vehicle I trust. No surrender, no retreat. I am the master of the street. Catch this! Neon cartel, running down the line. I'm taking all your secrets, making everything mine. Smashing through the barricade, flying in the air. I'm the only rebel who was ever gonna dare. Neon cartel, eating up my dust. A high velocity escape in the vehicle I trust. Bridge cleared, shattering the glass. Cartel defeated.
Pumping the pressure in the chamber of steel. A mechanical monster at the top of the wheel. Titanium blades spinning faster than light. A silver-clad devil in the middle of night. The heat is a fever, the metal is red. Driving the rhythm till the logic is dead. I don't need the mercy, I don't need the rest. Just the heavy vibration in the center of the chest. Hear the whistle screaming, a violent song where the weak fall behind and the heavy belong. Lock the intake, let the fire begin to flow. Watch the entire city start to melt and to glow. Titanium turbo burning through the grid. Proud of every dangerous thing that I did. A high pressure anthem, a high pressure drive. The only way for the machine to feel alive. Titanium turbo, breaking every seal. The absolute power of the heavy metal feel. The friction is a joke, the gravity is gone. I'm a horizontal rocket and I'm keeping it on. My exhaust is a dragon breathing purple and blue. A mechanical hazard coming straight after you. I drift through the sectors, I shatter the glass, watching all the atoms of the universe pass. No limit on the gauge, no limit on the soul. Losing the perspective and losing control. Spool up the power, compress the air. The ultimate speed is the only prayer. Maximum boost, Titanium turbo burning through the grid. Proud of every dangerous thing that I did. A high pressure anthem, a high pressure drive. The only way for the machine to feel alive. Titanium turbo, breaking every seal. The absolute power of the heavy metal feel.
it, a blur of neon pink. I'm faster than the moments when you even have to think. Mach 5 on the dial, Mach 6 upon the dash. I'm turning all the reality into a violet flash. The stars are getting longer, a ribbon of the white. I'm the only queen of the interstellar night. No gravity to hold me, no limits on the soul. Losing the perspective and losing the control. Shifting to the infinite, let the plasma flow. Watching as the galaxies begin to melt and glow. I'm a horizontal rocket, I'm a bullet in the deep. Breaking every promise that I ever meant to keep. Hyperdrive, heroin, Xing out the lines. Ignored by the radars and ignored by the signs. I'm a supernova daughter, I'm a comet on the track. And once I hit the ceiling, there is no turning back. Hyperdrive, heroin, screaming in the car. I'm reaching for the universe and begging for some more. The cockpit is a furnace, the chassis is a flame, but I have permanently altered the mechanics of the game. I'm weaving through the nebula, I'm drifting around the sun, the greatest marathon that was ever being run. I leave the maggot city in the dust of yesterday, washing all the sorrow and the gravity away. A goddess of the vacuum, a master of the thrust, turning all the history into a stardust dust. Faster than light, faster than sound. Never come back to the dirty ground. Engage hyperspace. Velocity, infinite system, ascending, heroin. Heroin.
Past the edge of the map, caught in a strange electromagnetic trap. The radio died and the headlights went dim. The horizon is looking impossibly grim. There in the distance, cutting the night, a tower of black absorbing the light. No neon, no chrome, just an absolute void. A geometry left by a god destroyed. The engine is sputtering, losing its breath. A heavy sensation resembling death. It pulls me right in with an invisible hand. A silent colossus alone in the sand. Neon, monolith, shadow of space, staring right back in the human race. A structure of secrets, a pillar of doom, turning the desert into a mechanical tomb. Neon, monolith, humming a tune under the light of a paralyzed moon. I step from the vehicle, touching the stone, a frequency vibrating right through the bone. It isn't a building, it isn't a ship. face. I realize now we were never alone. We are just dust on a cosmic throne. The engine is sputtering, losing its breath. A heavy sensation resembling death. It pulls me right in with an invisible hand. A silent colossus alone in the sand. Neon monolith, shadow of space, staring right back in the human race. A structure of secrets, a pillar of doom, turning the desert into a mechanical tomb. Neon monolith, humming a tune under the light of a paralyzed moon. It sees me. It knows me. The transmission begins. We are awake. Neon monolith, shadow of space, staring right back in the human race. A structure of secrets, a pillar of doom, turning the desert into a mechanical tomb. Neon monolith, humming a tune under the light of a paralyzed moon. The signal is sent. The monolith sleeps. Fade to black. To feel truly alive. The interceptor's tailing, but they're miles far behind, looking for a ghost that they are never gonna find. I dive between the buildings, I disappear in mist, with a heavy metal weapon wrapped around my wrist. The data's downloading, a river of the pure fire, blending with the bass, the most violent procession in the history of the race. We burn 1,000 gallons every single heavy mile, but we're making all the credits and we're doing it in style. The mega city borders are coming into sight. We bring the heavy thunder to the middle of the night. Lock the heavy axles, shift the brutal gear. We don't negotiate, we operate on fear. A mile-long procession of the iron and the chrome. We will not stop the engines till we reach the neon home. Chromium convoy shaking up the ground, the heaviest machinery that's ever been found. We're breaking the blockade, we're smashing through the gate, delivering the cargo and delivering the fate. Chromium convoy, a mechanical stampede. We're feeding all the shadows exactly what they need. Hold the line, keep the pace, crush the bugs in our space. Run out! Chromium convoy shaking up the ground, the heaviest machinery that's ever been found. We're breaking the blockade, we're smashing through the gate, delivering the cargo and delivering the fate. Chromium convoy, a mechanical stampede. We're feeding all the shadows exactly what they need. Convoy arriving, gates opening, heavy delivery. Out beyond the barrier, where the neon doesn't shine, there's a sea of orange dust, and it's completely mine. Six-wheel drive engaging heavy treads upon the tire, spitting out the gravel, spitting out the fire. Storm of radiation blowing heavy from the east. I drop the dirty goggles and awaken up the beast. The suspension takes a beating, launching off the dune underneath the eerie glow of a broken double moon. No asphalt to guide me, no painted yellow line, just the compass in the dash and the instinct in my spine. A scavenger of speed in a world without a rule, running on adrenaline and synthetic fuel. Cyber dune drifter, tearing up the sand, a mechanical nomad in a devastated land, kicking up a dust cloud, blocking out the sky. If you stop the vehicle, you're surely gonna die. Cyber dune drifter, a monster in the wild, the apocalypse's favorite and most destructive child. The raiders try to flank me in their rusted out machines, with harpoons in the lasers, painting up the scenes. I hit the lateral thrusters, sliding down the hill, an avalanche of gravel moving in for the kill. I hear their engines choking on the heavy yellow dirt. I leave them in the cradle with a whole lot destructive child. Shift the sand, ride the storm, where the outlaws are the norm. Beat my dust. Tearing up the sand, a mechanical nomad in a devastated land, kicking up a dust cloud, blocking out the sky. If you stop the vehicle, you're surely gonna die. Cyber Dune Drifter, a monster in the wild, the apocalypse's favorite and most destructive child. Into the storm, lost in the dunes, drifter out. Tactical armor and a heart of lead, driving through the city where the rumors spread. Cobalt plating on the doors and the glass, watching all the petty little rebels pass. I got a payload locked inside the steel. I am the only master of the heavy wheel. Radio silence on the encrypted line, making sure the victory is officially mine. Scan the perimeter, check the infrared glow. I'm moving in the places where the weak won't go. Thermal vision painting every shadow in the red, counting all the enemies and counting all the dead. Cobalt Commando ruling the street, matching every movement to the combat beat. A fortress on the highway, a mountain of the might, striking like a hammer in the middle of the night. Cobalt Commando, armor and soul, taking the objective and taking the control. The ambush is waiting at the sector 4, but I'm bringing thunder to the bunker door. Hydraulic suspension taking every hit. I'm the only driver with the tactical wits. I deploy the smoke screen of violet haze, leading them to ruin in a metal maze. One final boost through the barricade of fire, fulfilling the mission and the corporate desire. Engage the thrusters, lock the gears. The road is a battlefield. Drown out the fear, strike hard. Cobalt Commando ruling the street, matching every movement to the combat beat. A fortress on the highway, a mountain of the might, striking like a hammer in the middle of the night. Cobalt Commando,
Objective secured. Returning to base. Commando out.
Watching all the atoms of the universe pass. My vision is a spectrum, my vision is the glow. Watching as the energy begins to melt and go. I'm hitting every frequency, I'm hitting every line. Crossing the trajectory of something so divine. Align the vectors, let the shadows start to fade. Underneath the canopy that the mega city made. I'm a horizontal rainbow, I'm a bullet in the wire. Fulfilling the prophecy of the electric desire. Prism pilot racing
gravity's fading into a shade of blue. I'm drifting through a tunnel that is entirely new. The walls are made of ether, the floor is made of light. A beautiful escape inside the middle of the night. No friction on the rubber, no pressure on the soul. Losing the direction and losing all control. I'm a bubble made of carbon, a phantom in the haze, finding my salvation in a neon-colored maze. Everything is quiet, everything is still, surrendering at last to the architect's will. The static is a blanket, the static is a prayer, floating on the ripples of the electronic air. Ether drifter, lost inside the glow, moving with the frequency steady and so slow. A dream of purple starlight, a dream of neon rain, washing out the memory of the gravity and pain. Ether drifter, a weightless and sweet ride, with the entire universe standing by my side. I see the holographic angels dancing in the mist, with a secret melody that simply can't exist. My dashboard is a mirror to a galaxy of ones, burning brighter than the light of artificial suns. I don't need the destination, I don't need the end. The silence is a lover and the silence is a friend. I'll stay here in the ether, I'll stay here in the fall, watching all the reality begin to melt and glow. Float away into the white. beautiful piece of an ancient stage. I brush off the carbon, I plug in the wire, and suddenly spark up an analog fire. The speakers awaken, the melody plays, a beautiful echo of the retro days. Neon archaeologists dust in the past, finding the memory constructed to last. The synthesizer singing a beautiful cry, bringing the color right back to the sky. Neon archaeologists saving the sound, the greatest of treasures pulled out of the ground. I listen to stories of highways and rain, of outlaws and drivers who suffered the pain, of laser grid labyrinths, cassettes in the dash, before the whole civilization was ash. It feels like a phantom is holding my hand, a ghost of a rhythm I can understand. I close my two eyes and I picture the street, the glowing magenta, the heavy dark beat. I brush off the carbon, I plug in the wire, and suddenly spark up an analog fire. The speakers awaken, the melody plays, a beautiful echo of the retro days. Neon archaeologists dusting the past, finding the memory constructed to last. The synthesizer singing a beautiful cry, bringing the color right back to the sky. Neon archaeologists saving the sound, the greatest of treasures pulled out of the ground. The data survives, the rhythm lives on, from the midnight to the dawn. Neon archaeologists dusting the past, finding the memory constructed to last. The synthesizer singing a beautiful cry, bringing the color right back to the sky. Neon archaeologists saving the sound, the greatest of treasures pulled out of the ground. File saved, history restored. Neon never dies. Completely out of sight. The syndicate thought it was safe in the air, but they did